The county magistrate was also moved, so he ordered the county magistrate to return the land to the enemy and still severely punish Qiu2 to warn those unfilial sons. After the old lady returned home, the county magistrate had already followed the county magistrate's order to arrest the gamblers again and investigate them strictly. Finally, all the land that Qiu2 lost was taken back. The old lady had been a widow for a long time at this time, so she asked her youngest son to go back and told him to work hard with his brother after returning home and not to come again. From then on, the aunt lived in her natal home, taking care of her stepmother, teaching her second brother, and managing everything in an orderly manner. The stepmother was very pleased and her condition gradually improved. She entrusted all the household chores to the aunt. Sometimes the ruffians in the village would bully the enemy, and the aunt would go to their house with a knife and reason with them. Those ruffians would surrender. After more than a year, the family property increased day by day. The aunt often bought some medicine and food to send to Jiang. Seeing that Qiu2 was growing up, she repeatedly asked matchmakers to propose marriage to him. Wei Ming wasted his efforts and still did not give up. He told people, "All the property of the enemy has been given to you. I am afraid it will not be returned in the future." People believed it, so no one was willing to marry their daughter to Qiu2. There was a young man named Fan Ziwen who had a famous garden at home, which was second to none in Shaanxi. In the garden, many precious flowers and plants were planted on both sides of the road, leading all the way to the inner room of the Fan family. Once a man did not know that this was the Fan family's garden and walked along the road to the inner room by mistake and happened to run into Master Fan holding a family banquet. The Fan family was furious and arrested this man, saying that he was a robber and almost beat him to death. On the day of Qiming festival, Qiu2 came back from the private school and ran into Wei Ming. Wei Ming pretended to play with him and gradually led him to the vicinity of Fan's garden. Wei Ming had a friendship with the gardener of the garden, so the gardener let them in. The two of them walked around the pavilions and terraces in the garden. After a while, they came to a place where a stream flowed far away, and the water was turbulent. A painted bridge spanned the stream, with vermilion railings on both sides, leading to a red lacquer gate. From a distance, I saw clusters of flowers inside the gate. It turned out that this was Master Fan's inner room. Wei Ming deceived Qiu2 and said, "You go in first. I need to go to the toilet." Qiu2 believed it and walked over the bridge, entered the red painted gate, and came to a courtyard. He heard women talking and laughing. Just as he stopped to wonder, a maid came out, saw Qiu2, turned around and ran away. Qiu2 suddenly realized that he had mistakenly entered someone's inner room and ran away in horror. At that moment, Master Fan also came out of the house and shouted to his family to catch Qiu2 with a rope. Qiu2 was very embarrassed and jumped into the stream in a hurry. Master Fan saw him and suddenly laughed and ordered the servants to rescue him. Seeing Qiu2's handsome appearance and gorgeous clothes, he asked the servants to change his wet clothes and shoes for him, pulled him into a pavilion, and asked his name. Looking at Master Fan's demeanor, his face was kind, his words were gentle, and he looked very close. After talking for a while, Master Fan went into the inner room, then came out again, smiled and held Qiu2's hand, pulled him across the bridge, and gradually approached the courtyard. Qiu2 didn't understand what he meant and hesitated and didn't dare to go in. Master Fan forced him into the courtyard and saw a beautiful woman peeking at this side from behind the flower fence. After the two sat down, the maid served wine. Qiu2 declined, saying, "I was young and ignorant, and I entered your inner room by mistake. Thank you for forgiving me, which is beyond my expectation. I just hope you can let me go home as soon as possible. I will be very grateful." Master Fan didn't listen. Not long after, the dishes were already on the table. Qiu2 declined again, saying that he had eaten and drunk enough. Master Fan forced him to sit down and said with a smile, "I have a name for a song. If you can match it, I will let you go." Qiu2 quickly agreed and asked him to speak. Master Fan said, "The name is not like at all." Qiu2 thought for a long time before he answered, "In Qing, no way. Master Fan laughed and said, "It's really Qiu2." Qiu2 was even more puzzled. It turned out that Master Fan had a daughter named Huinyang, who was both beautiful and knowledgeable. Master Fan wanted to choose a good husband for her every day. The night before, Huinyang dreamed of a man who told her, "Qiu2 is your son-in-law." Huinyang asked, "Where is he?" The answer was, "He will fall into the water tomorrow." When she woke up in the morning, Huinyang told her parents, who were all surprised. Qiu2 just met Huinyang's dream, so Master Fan invited him into the inner room and let his wife, Huinyang, and the maids look at each other. At this time, Master Fan heard Qiu2's coincidental couplet and said happily, "My daughter came up with this title." She thought about it for a long time but couldn't come up with a couplet. "Now you have found the right one. This is also fate. I want to marry my daughter to you. My family has no shortage of houses. You don't need to trouble your family to come to meet the bride. You can just marry into my family." Qiu2 declined in fear, saying that his mother was sick and bedridden, and he really didn't dare to marry into another family. Master Fan asked him to go back first and discuss it with his family. So he sent a servant to take Qiu2's wet clothes and let him ride back. Qiu2 returned home and told his mother about it. His mother was surprised and thought it was unlucky. From this incident, Xiaoshi realized that Wei Ming was a very sinister person. But it was a blessing in disguise, so she didn't want to be his enemy, but just warned her son not to associate with him anymore. A few days later, Mr. Fan sent someone to tell Qiu2's mother. His mother still didn't dare to agree, but the aunt agreed and immediately sent 2 matchmakers to deliver the betrothal gifts. Soon, Qiu2 married into Mr. Fan's family. In more than a year, he passed the examination and became a scholar, and he was very famous. Later, when his wife's brother grew up, he neglected Qiu2. Qiu2 was furious and returned to his own home with his wife. At this time, his mother could walk with the help of crutches. Relying on the aunt's care every year, the house at home was spacious and intact. After Qiu2's wife moved in, she also brought a lot of slaves and servants, and the Qiu family became a wealthy family. Wei Ming didn't succeed again, and he became more jealous of the Qiu family. He hated that he could not find any evidence against his enemy, so he bribed a Han slave who escaped from his banner and asked him to falsely accuse Qiu2 of harboring stolen goods. When the Qing dynasty was first established, the law to punish escaped slaves from the banner was the most stringent. Qiu2 was sentenced to exile and sent to the border area according to the law. Master Fan bribed people up and down and only managed to save Huinyang from being exiled. All of Qiu2's land was put into the government treasury. Fortunately, the aunt took the original division document and stood up to the government to argue that the newly added several hectares of good land were all registered in Qiu2's name and did not belong to Qiu2, so they were not confiscated. And the mother and daughter had a place to live. Qiu2 thought that he might never come back after being exiled this time, so he wrote a divorce document, sent it to his father-in-law's house, and went to the border area alone.